So, hello everyone, and welcome to all of you to this podcast session. And today also we are here again to discuss about the sub-densities of third density, and it will help people to understand where they are in their spiritual journey, because I think it's very important for people to truly know and recognize where they are. And I want to say thank you to all of you for liking the video, because it will help to reach to other star seeds who may need this information to evolve more faster into higher levels of consciousness. And with that being said, I welcome my friend Anil to the podcast. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be of service in a little way. To all the listeners, I would I reiterate that the purpose of this podcast is to raise the understanding and the vibration of current human collective. I would encourage each entity to approach these topics with an open mind and heart, seeking to understand the deeper spiritual truth, and only accept those thought forms that resonate with their inner heart, leaving behind those that do not resonate with it. I would like to clarify one thing. I read the comment by some listeners, and they have a different view on certain things which has been said in the podcast and does not resonate with their inner heart. I would just say to them that there is no disagreement. If something that does not resonate with their heart at this time, they can leave them and accept only those which they resonate, and maybe in future they will understand what has been said. So today I'm very excited. Last time in the last podcast we covered the sub-densities of first density and the sub-densities of second density. Today we are going to talk about the sub-densities of the third density first, and then the sub-densities of the fourth density. And both these topics are very relevant because in third density, we would like to know and recognize, as Sam said, where we are in our journey, the soul consciousness journey. And then fourth density to give us a glimpse of where we want to be and what it would like to be. And I think that is very important because that motivates us also that we will be going to the next level. And, it's like excitement before going to a holidays. In the same way, it gives you an excitement and motivate you to learn the lesson of this third density and go into the fourth density, a place of love, joy, and happiness forever, So that being said, let's start into, the third density, as you're aware, is a density of self-awareness, choice, and includes mind, body, spirit complex. For example, human beings, entities like us, the human beings. So the first sub-density of the third density, this is the most basic level of third density consciousness where entities are barely self-aware. The so-called ego function of the mind is not yet developed, and most of the memories are forgotten. In the first sub-density, the basic lesson are that of self-awareness. And you can compare this as a little child. When the little child is born, he does not remember anything. He's barely self-aware. Parents do the work for him, and I think he has a very little memory. And, hardly anybody can remember those days when he was born and what happened to them. So you can just imagine that, very early stages of that sub-density. In the second sub-density of the third density, in this level of consciousness, the entities are focused on survival, and the vibration of fear begins to develop. Furthermore, the ego function of the mind also begins to develop, and the identification with the physical bodily complex begins. In the second sub-density, the primary lessons are to be learned to survive and to protect the bodily complex from any type of distortions. So again, if you just follow your life as a child, and you can see, once you are getting a little older, couple of years, 2 years or something, you start able to develop fear, or at least you've been taught fear. I know some people don't even fear the child up to 5 years. They are so courageous and they don't fear anything. It's the adults which are more fearful of things. And again, there is no ego function in the child. They are all loving beings. They love everybody. But hardly, generally not. It is more like indoctrination or taught by the parents or the adults and by the society, this kind of function. In the third sub-density of the third density, in this level of consciousness, the entity begins to develop desires. The desires are generated in the mind complex through the images and words, leading to attachment to the things of the illusion complex, specifically attaching those aspects which provide a sense of security and pleasure. And we are all there, we know this, and we all have been there. We are attached to things, we already now attached to things, most of us are attached to things and have difficulty letting things go. And we always look for security and pleasure. And this is, in a sense, we are, as you say, fear of pain and desire for pleasure. This is our one sentence basically says it all about our nature and this spiral we are stuck into, where we are fearing the pain and desiring the pleasure. And the fourth sub-density of the third density, in this level of consciousness, all entities are presented with a choice. The entity must choose either to serve others or to serve themselves. This choice is made of passing a subtle test which involves making a sacrifice for others. This means that those who choose to serve others are put on a pathway of the positive path of learning the lessons of love, while those who choose to serve themselves are placed on the pathway to learn the negative distortion of self-love. So again, you can see as we move on, and I think people are presented, and people really don't really think consciously this, and they do certain things, help others, make sacrifices, and for others, not necessarily mothers or parents, because some parents do and mother may do sacrifice, I think, but there is a kind of self-interest. They do this for their children, but they wouldn't do the same thing for other children. So I don't think so that could be treated as sacrifice in my understanding as such, because this is motivated by self-love because it is their art. If they do it for everybody or every children, then yes, this would be a sacrifice. And in the fifth sub-density of the third density, in this level of consciousness, entities are given a lesson necessary to master either service to other or service to self. This means that the positive pathway revolves around learning the lessons of love and serve others, whereas the negative pathway involves lessons mastering self-love and serving oneself. So again, occasionally you do, service to others, but in this sub-density, you are honing your skills or mastering your skills or lessons where you master service to self or service to others or service to self, whatever it is you have chosen. And in the sixth sub-density of third density, in this level of consciousness, entities chooses a lifestyle that reflects their chosen state of consciousness, such as learning to stabilize in the lessons of love, joy, and peace for those on a positive pathways. And for those on the negative pathway, the lessons involve learning the lower vibration states of consciousness of self-love. Again, so the manifestation happens. The people who are service bar, their lifestyle start reflecting in their daily lives, where they might choose or give daily, running after money, hoarding, which is material word, and slightly become distance, not maybe outwardly distance from the world, but inside they are becoming one with them. Whereas it is the other way around uh, for uh, the people on the negative path. And I think you can follow this in your life and see these kind of levels at the same time. In the seventh density, sub-density of the third density, in this level of consciousness, entities master the chosen path. So basically, you have mastered and ready to graduate into the next fourth density. And just I would like to point out this level of consciousness may not necessarily follow a linear or a hierarchical pattern, and some entities may experience different levels of consciousness or different levels of sub-densities simultaneously, and many a times are able to move back and forth between level of consciousness throughout their existence on third density. So this could be not a linear, it could be a non-linear density. They could happen simultaneous and in and out, depending on if you're not able to stabilize, you can move in and move out of one density level. I would highly recommend that each entity who is listening to this message re-listen, contemplate, pray, and discern within their inner heart and reflect on which level of consciousness they are currently experiencing in their soul journey, and consciously make effort to learn the lesson so that they can graduate into fourth density. Sam, do you have anything to add to this in the third density, sub-densities?
Yeah, just wanted to say that, there may be many people who in their lifetime, they may cross various layers of sub-densities of the third density. And there may be some people, who are able to even learn the lessons faster. But basically, these sub-densities are as a guidepost for those who seek to understand where they are. So as you're listening to what Anil was saying, basically, you need to just be self-aware of where you are. And also, if you want to know the reference from which entity this was channeled from, you'll find a reference PDF on the description to the original session if you want to know from which entity or from which being this information came from. And I think many people, if they know this information, their journey will become much more faster because they will know where they are and they can track themselves. And as we already know that third density is the realm where we have the opportunity to make the choice. And after this, if we choose whichever pathway we want to enter, then that will form a part of that social memory complex. So I think where we are right now, it's very important based on my understanding. And I also want to say that it requires self-awareness. So many a times, third density, they say, is the density of self-awareness. So just be self-aware and just see, as you're listening to the, sub-densities of third density, just see, where you might fit in that. And just notice, what you have been doing in your life, what kind of thoughts, what kind of actions you have had, and what can you improve in your life. And based on that, you will progress even higher. And that's all I wanted to add with this, Anil.
Thank you, Sam, for that. And I would like to just point out one very important thing. This session was basically channeled by Sam, and Palladian was the one who gave this model of third density. And they said particularly that they would love everybody on the planet Earth to watch that channeled session And I think it was correct. If everybody watches this session or listen to this podcast on planet Earth, people, it will accelerate their journey or graduation into the fourth density, whatever their chosen path is. So now I will move to the sub-density to fourth density. As I said to you, it's very exciting, like going to a holiday and learning, what you will see and what you will explore. So I am going to just say that, so this will gives a glimpse into what we are striving to go into a fourth density. The time is very near on the, as we all know, that Earth is moving into a fourth density, and it is very exciting time. For all of us who are desirous of graduating into fourth density. So as we know, fourth density is the density of love, understanding, and include social memory complex. It is the first density to include variable physicality. And basically what that means, shape-shifting. Generally, this is associated with more with the fourth density STS, people who shape-shift. Generally, on positive side, they don't really do use of that much unless required. So the first sub-density of the fourth density, this leads to activation of gray chakra to higher levels. So as you know, that to get into a fourth density and to do a live review, we already have to activate our green chakra, but now the activation goes to a higher level when we come here. This can be activated in a current physical vehicle without any upgradation. So the same body vehicle we'll have at current present time can do that without any move, change in the body, changes in the body complex. In the second subdensity of the fourth density consciousness, this leads to changes in the physical vehicle. This can be perceived as increase in the size of chest complex wherein the heart is located. The activation of higher heart energies will reflect in the increase of the chest area. This signifies the heart chakra's increasing level of activation. So for this higher level of activation, our size of heart will increase. And I think the changes in the physical body, the way we look, would change in the fourth density, in my understanding. And in the third sub-density of the fourth density, this leads to switching off the left side of the brain completely. As you know, the left side of the brain is our analytical mind, and the right side is a creative mind. At this level of consciousness, there will be no need for the use of left side of the brain, which primarily concerned with taking off the ego function of the mind. This allows the activation of the right side of the brain, and the full functionality of physical vehicle is done by the right side of the brain. This means that the ego function of the mind will disappear. So, as I always keep telling you, that the yellow chakra is this where ego is not a thing, it's a function, and it is a blockage in yellow chakra. That means in the third subdensity, you will fully activate your or unblock your yellow chakra and the ego, and that is related with your left brain as well. As so the left brain or this analytical brain of ours will stop working, and we will be operating from the heart level or heart energy and listening to our heart. So this can also already gives you clue that we can consciously achieve that even in the third density, where we can choose to operate from our heart center rather than listening to our analytical, worldly method of doing this, which is the right way of doing things, rather than what our heart is telling us. So we should listen to our heart. Even our mind is saying the other way, this is not the right, we don't make a profit, that's not the way to do things. And listen to our and follow our heart. That is already will help you accelerate your graduation into fourth density. In the fourth subdensity of the fourth density. This leads to development of telepathy, and hence slowly there will be no need of speaking or the mouth organ for communication. The mouth organ or the will primarily be only used for purpose of breathing and eating food or ingestion of a chemical products for the chemical body. So you can see that at this level in the fourth subdensity, we will acquire telepathy skills or abilities, which they are trying to sell it right now, or which they have actually copied in fourth density, and they are bringing that technology into the third density right now, and we are saying that we can communicate, or a phone is a part of that. We would not need that, and we would not need any chip in our brain to telepathically communicate with anything. So we can naturally do that. So I think this is a great thing, and already we have a little bit of, we can see, I mean, I have experienced myself telepathic communication with people I'm connected with, and we can read far away with my sisters and friends at times, and this skill will be enhanced and activated fully. So I think we should really excited about that and go into this telepathic communication. And when the telepathic communication happens, you can't lie. There will be, and you will become a social memory complex. There will be no lie. People won't be able to lie. Everybody knows what is going in your head, which will be so truthful. And that's why people move. This is one of the reasons why STS and STO move separately as well. So into the fifth subdensity of density 4, this leads to the function of a dual body. One will be spiritually activated light body, and the other will be a chemical body of the fourth density. So and all the communication will occur by the means of telepathic communication and the creation of social memory complex. So as I just was mentioning, that in the fifth subdensity, we really become a social memory complex. Everything is by telepathic communication, and everybody can read everybody's mind, and there is no place for lies. And there is also a formation of bodily changes, and this will be a two level. One is a spiritual level, a light body, which is you will be radiating light from your spiritual body, and there will be a chemical body part, which has a minimal function in the fourth density. And in this is even in the STS level this happens, but STS, even in the STS planet in the fourth density, everybody knows that the other person would like to take control of them, but they accept that. It's like a gangs, when you have a gang wars, people accept the authority of other people and submit to the person who is more cruel or more powerful than, and they accept it. But everybody knows that everybody's out there to kill each other or take over and empower or to enslave others, but they all accept to that philosophy, and they do it. So it's all clear. The powerful wins. So it's a very different way of thinking. In the sixth subdensity of the fourth density, this leads to the activation of a spiritual body with limited amount of functioning will continue in the chemical body. The major part of the body shall exist in the light body. At this level of consciousness, there will be no need for entities to ingest chemical products and foods for the purpose of surviving. The survival shall depend on the energy received from the light of the sun. The light of the sun shall be sufficient for entities for survival. So again, as you see, as we move into the sixth subdensity, there is no need for eating the food, and you can get the energy from the sun energies which we are getting. And you can also understand here even now that we do get our energy from the sun. The sun is important. When you don't go into the sun, you get depressed, you feel down. So please do go in the sun, take a sun. It gives you the vitamin D, body works, and you feel good. And you get much different kind of energy than you get from the food. It's a very different kind of energy. Um, uh, and I hopefully you will develop once you experience a different sense of the energy. It's much more compact energy which you get from the sun than what you get from the food. And again, you can now maybe able to understand and comprehend Anunnaki, which are who are controlling our planet, who are fourth density STS, and understand their abilities, what they are capable of, and how they are managing us, because they are so advanced and they are basically keeping us in dark and uh, basically puppeteering all of us, really the elites and things. And of course, these elites are in awe of them because they have this godlike, for third density, these are godlike abilities. So, of course, we think they are the gods, and they are the gods, STS gods. So, and how they are able to manage the word stage. People say this is not possible. Yes, this is possible. What has happened in the past, in the COVID era, to organize such at a large extent, same thing, because it is managed by Anunnakis, STS, four density entities who are much more powerful than we could ever be in third density. And in the seventh sub-density, refinement of a spiritual body and the graduation happens, and then people are ready to graduate into the fifth density. I would also like to point out, in the fourth density, most people or most entity will choose not to consume other entity physical vehicles, as such consumption holds the energy of the entities back and keep it down to its lower level of a vibration. The consumption of other entity physical vehicles adds to the karma of the self and the planet. So, as you know, that when I say physical vehicle, is like eating meat. It's up to you whether you want to eat, but I think in fourth density, at least on the STO planet, fourth density STO planet, most people choose. This, of course, not be true for STS planet. Of course, this is a STO channel, so we are talking mainly about STO planet. But in STS, entities will consume other entities' bodily vehicle because it helps to stabilize their lower vibration. But in STO planets, people choose not to consume other entity physical vehicles. Most people understand that consuming second density creature would lead to the creation of karmic collective in their life, and hence choose to be vegetarian. So, Sam, is anything you would like to add to this?
I think Anil has explained beautifully. So, one more thing, just short, I wanted to say is that, like Anil said, the negative entities, they are copying what will naturally happen in the fourth density. So, like telepathy, we will naturally have that ability, So, we don't need anything exterior. Like, Elon Musk is pushing his Neuralink, and other companies are also trying to do that. But what will happen is that they will control us, in a way, if we allow that to happen. But naturally, it will happen. And I'll give an example. Okay, for example, people say, stuff about, artificial intelligence. It's so smart and stuff like that. But just think about your subconscious mind. Your body. How is it able to beat your heartbeat? How is it able to digest your food? And how is it able to, allow you to understand language, remember so many things, to be creative, and it's all happening naturally. So in the future, fourth density, that will also happen naturally. That's all I wanted to add, because, people, and the thing is, the negative entities, they want to give, fast products, because they want to capture humanity, because the time is near, right? 2030, they have given the deadline for the split. So I think they are trying to do this more and more, so that by that time they want to do put planet Earth into negative polarity, and we need to be aware of that. But eventually, slowly and steadily, we will naturally reach that level. That's all I wanted to say. And anything, Anil, you want to add before we end?
Said, that's a wonderfully said. On I think there's no need to say any more. You have said it, and thank you for doing that and to remind people uh, uh, of this negative agenda and what they are trying to do to us.
Awesome. So with that, I think we should end the session. And I want to say thank you to all the viewers who have joined, who have commented and liked the video. We'll see you in the next podcast. Until then, stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much.